Hola, friends. I'm Brandi Amara Skyy, and I am a wild dream coach. I help folks like you do things that you think or feel are impossible. And this is your March Tarotscope. And I'm sorry it's a little late. It is late because I actually took the advice of the cards this month. And I did a little bit of rest. I literally just turned in my latest book last Sunday. And so I've been really just resting and rejuvenating and really trying to tend to myself and take care of myself, which if you've been in my world in a while and if you know me, you know that that has been one of the impossible things for me to do and to learn for myself. So before we get into the cards this month, I just want to say thank you for being here. I am so grateful that you tune in every month to get your monthly tarot scopes with me. Normally this is done live, and I do the monthly tarot readings live on YouTube the first Tuesday of every month. And of course, this month was a little bit different because I was finishing up the book. And so I appreciate your patience and I love you so, so much. Thank you for allowing me and giving me grace to take the advice of the first card that we have for March. So if you go back and you watch the 12 card pull for 2024, you can see that March, there were two cards that wanted to usher in March's energy. And so the first card was the Four of Swords, and the second one is the Five of Cups. And I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to decide, should we do them individually first or together? Let's do them together first. That's what I'm feeling called to do. So the first thing that I noticed when I pulled this for us is that these are in numeric order, right? So the suits are different. This is swords, this is cups, but we have a 4 and a 5. And so this month is really about building the foundation, right? That 4, getting the 4 legs of our table, whatever it is we're trying to build, whatever wild dream it is, whatever New Year's intentions or resolutions that you had. March is really the time to build those foundations, right? To create the bedrock and the solidness in which all of that is going to stand on. Or it's to help us create and usher in that into this next spring cycle, right? Because March, in the middle of March, we have the spring equinox, and that is a turning of a whole nother wheel. So it's a turning of a seasonal wheel. It's a turning of the astrological wheel. It's a turning of the Aztec medicine wheel. So this is like a new beginning. And so the cards here, this numerical order, are reminding us to build that which we want to call in, that which we want to receive, in a not necessarily logical sense, although the 4 of Swords is the mental and the mind, but from a totality, right? From seeing the different pictures. So we have the swords, which is mental, the words, communication, and then we have the 5 of Cups. The cups, our emotionality, our creativity, our intuitive, our psychic ability. And so we're being called to really build the foundation in all areas of our senses, right? So not just the logical, not just the mind, not just the planning, not just the way that I communicate my ideas to other people, the way I communicate my ideas to myself, but in a very intuitive, organic, and channeled way, right? And so we have this building of the 4, and then we have the crux of the 5, right? The 5 is in between the 1 and the 10, right? It's that midpoint in the journey. And so March is telling a story of we're in almost like the teeter-totter, right? The seesaw, where we can choose to go this way, which is backwards, or we could choose to go this way, which is forward. And we could really lean into one way or another. And this is really prevalent in what the Five of Cups is telling us, right? If you look at the card itself, where is this human's focus? Right? Where is this person focusing? They're focusing on these three cups that have spilt over, right? They're not looking at this amazingness that is literally surrounding them if they just shifted their perspective, right? If they just glanced the other way, they would see that their cups, two of them, runneth over. And the way that we can see this, right? The way that we can stretch and expand our sight, right? Our vision is when we rest, is when we say, okay, I just spent like 3 months in a writing cave. I just spent my entire days with my computer, channeling these words, like editing these words, doing all of these things. And I could just have jumped from one thing to another, which is what our society really, their definition of productivity asks us to do, right? Is to jump from one thing to another. But the only way that and that would lead to burnout, right? That would lead to me looking at the cups and looking at my life and going, oh my God, this is too much, right? But what the cards are saying, and what really all of nature is saying, is that we have to have these moments of reprieve. We have to have these moments of pause, right? Of meditation, of breath, of really calling ourselves back to ourselves so that we can maintain the fullness and the breadth of ourselves, so that we can see clearly what is all around us, right? Because when we're tired, when we're burned out, when we're in a space of like overwhelm, it's so easy to focus on what's going wrong, right? Versus opening up ourselves to see what's going well. And these two really not only build on each other, but are sharing the same story for us, right? They are sharing the same story of like, look at so here we have in the Four of Swords, she is closing her eyes, right? She is not looking at the four swords that are coming down upon her, right? It's like she doesn't even want to look to see what's there. And here we're directly looking at it. So, and also we can look at this as, what are we not facing, right? What are the things in our life that we are not yet fully rested, fully in ourselves, fully in our power to really look and see, regardless of which way, right? Because there's always multitudes in any kind of given reading, right? There is a plethora of ways in which these two cards can be read. But what I really want to circle us back to is that these two are saying, rest and don't cry over spilled milk. Like, that's one of my favorite sayings. And not even sayings, it's like a story that I have in my head. I can't remember where I heard it, but there is a adage of like a kid who literally, like two kids, one kid spilled the milk, the other kid spilled the milk. This one's parental unit was like really mad and upset and was like, why did you spill the milk? Like really being dramatic. And then this other parental unit over here was like, you know what? Accidents happen. Things happen. This isn't anything to overwhelm your nervous system with, right? This is just something. Accidents happen. So what do? We just clean it up and we keep moving along, through our day. And so I think about that story and that choice that we have to either really be anxious, to really be dramatic and in our feelings and like, oh my God, like I spilled the milk, right? Or we can be like, you know what? The fact is, I spilt the milk. My emotionality to it, my response to it doesn't have to be the way it's always been. And I can choose differently. And so I'm choosing to respond and see the milk. I spilt the milk, but you know what? I have a whole other fucking carton in the fridge. In fact, I have almond milk, which is better than real milk because, yeah, coconut milk is better than all the milks, right? Okay, so to bring this all back home to how we can praxis and implement this into our lives in March is I really want you to take the rest that you need. I want you to take the rest that you have always, for one reason or another, been really fearful to give yourself. So I want you to gift yourself some rest. I want you to gift yourself some pause. I want you to gift yourself some space so that you can receive the downloads that are trying to come through, right? Receive the things that are going to help lean you in the direction that you want to go, right? Building that foundation, building upon your wild dreams, all the things that you want to call into fruition. And then I want you, us to remember that there's always choice, right? Like there's always, we decide which way we're going to look, right? There are all these things around us, but where our focus goes, our attention and energy flows. So this person is pushing energy into the spilt cups, right? The cups that don't have any coconut milk versus the ones that are full. And if we're going to build a solid foundation, right? If we're going to do the work of the fours, then in the fives we make a choice because we're in the middle of the beginning and the end. And so we can make a choice to say, okay, I'm going to go in the direction of that I'm not looking, but I know is there because I have faith and I believe. And in all actuality, it is there. All you have to do is just turn around. Or I can continue in the direction of being unhappy. And not even unhappy. That's a too much of a big word. Not but not doing the things, worrying about the things that, sweating the small stuff, right? Spilt milk is small stuff compared to the other shit that we have going on in the world and that you have going on in your life. And so you can choose right here. The fives ask you to choose. Are you going to continue to build? Are you going to continue to go to the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9, and ultimately the pinnacle of the 10? Or are you going to stay in this teeter-totter, right? This 4 and the 5 of like, oh, maybe. But because this is a cups card, I want you to really hone in and trust what is intuitively pulling you in the direction, right? Like I want you to rest well enough, feel refreshed, feel recuperated so that you can hear your intuition. You can hear your inner guidance system. You can hear the universe and spirit speaking through the turning of the wheel, through nature, through the stars, through the trees, through the birds, through the animals, so that you can create this support system, right? So that you are not walking this path of faith in the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9s on your own or alone. And if you'd like to praxis and really get to know your inner guidance system a little bit more this past weekend, because I've emerged from my writing cave, I have been feeling like this really deep craving for community. And, we're currently, if you're based in the United States, we're in election year and things are getting just so crazy and loud. And election years are always really hard on my heart system, my energetic system, and my nervous system, because I am an intersectional being. I'm queer, I'm brown, non-binary, woman, like indigenous. And so they're always super hard on me. And I know that if I'm feeling it, mi gente, you who are marginalized and our allies and our, fellow activists who are doing the work, this time of year really pulls on our ability to take care of ourselves, to tend to ourselves, to rest. And so it's so easy to focus like on the bad spilt milk, shit's hitting the fan, the world's coming to an end, apocalyptic kind of thing. And so I was feeling all this weekend, and I felt the call to create a new like sliding scale gathering called Mi Gente Circles, where I don't know the frequency of it yet. Like, I'm just really wanting to test this out and feel into how the community feels, and mi gente, how y'all feel. To gather together and tend to our nervous system, tend to our heart system, to be in space with other people who are feeling this time, but also need space and the breath and the pause in it to replenish, to recuperate, to refresh themselves, right? To go back to our factory settings, which is a state of peace, love, hope, and joy. Because the journey isn't always great. And even in the cards that we have coming up in the rest of 2024, we're gonna have to deal with some shit, right? So we're having to take on all of this shit that's coming in, within election year. And then we have all our own stuff that we're dealing, right? We have our own baggage, so to speak, that we're carrying in. And then we have like our energetic body and our heart systems and our emotional systems and all of that. So that's a lot of fodder to put on our systems. And maybe it was in the spirit of this cards, but you know what was really interesting? I never would have received that had I not rested, right? So in order for us to move forward in our lives, in our wild dreams, in whatever solutions we want to create for the world, right? We have to give ourselves space to really feel into the times, feel into the present, feel into ourselves, feel into what we're feeling, so that then when we look at all the shit that's going on in the world, we're like, you know what? I can be the change, right? Like, I can be the change, and all I have to do is shift my focus and move towards a more solution-based ideology, principle, and methodology. And so now that I'm here platicaying with you about it, I really feel like this circle, this idea was birthed to me because I gave myself space for it, and also to help us really plant and instill this idea, not even idea, but this feeling and this sensing of support, centering, not being alone on this journey where we want to go, and just a way to really open and expand ourselves to receive our own guidance, so we know moving forward what it is we need to tend to in ourselves. And so if you would like to join me, I would love to have you. Like I said, it is sliding scale because I really want this to be a place of support for all of us. It's actually going to be our second circle, but it's the one that really pulled forward first. And that's going to happen on March 25th, 2024 at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. There will be a replay. We are going to be working on giving ourselves the space and the tending that we need. And then also opening ourselves up to our intuition and our inner guidance system and our instincts and all the things that we need to turn the other way and look at the amazing blessings and gifts our life is, regardless of what is happening, right? Because there is choice in that, right? We're choosing. And yeah, like it feels potent, it feels powerful, and it hasn't even happened yet. And so we're going to gather virtually via Zoom and tend to our energetic, our heart, and our intuitive systems and bodies. So I really hope you'll join me. And I really hope that you give yourself and your heart and your nervous system the rest. And I really, really hope that you choose that space for yourself. You choose self-tending. You choose radical self-care. You choose to rest and see rest as revolutionary. And that whatever spilled milk you're crying over, that you really internalize that there's so much more milk in the world. There's so much more bounty. There's so much more love and beauty and abundance and magic. And that you, through your rest, through your tending, through your radical self-care, say yes to turning in the direction that you want to glow and grow. I love y'all so, so much. I hope this reading has landed. If it has, please let me know. If you'll be attending, I will drop the information in the description below. But let me know if you're attending. And also, how are you going to rest this month? I feel like that's the most important thing. Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe because, it's a vibe. And share the love. If you love this video, share with me because I love you and I love making these videos with and for you. And so until next month, or hopefully in a couple of weeks, I will see you in our Mi Gente circle. I love y'all so, so much. In Lakesh.